Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This Shabbos, the very special Shabbos, Parshat Teitzei has a very interesting law, and that is the law of the Ben Sorer Umorem. It is a law about a rebellious child. And it says in the Torah that a rebellious child is one who eats a lot of meat and drinks a lot of wine, and their parents can't deal with this kid. And so what they do, they bring him to this Beis Din, they bring him to a Jewish court, and they say, this is a Ben Sorer Umorem. He doesn't listen to Einenu Shomea B'kol Aviv B'kol Imo. He doesn't listen to the voice of his father and to the voice of his mother, and because of that, we have to kill him. And the Beis Din the Jewish court brings him to the front of the city, and they say, this is the guy that drinks wine and eats meat, and because of that, we have to kill him, and they kill him. So it says in the Torah. And his rabbis explain, how could they kill him? The reason why they kill him is because such a person in the future will be a murderer, and therefore they are killing him now to save the future murder of a Jew, of another person, which is an interesting idea in theory, as we just saw this terrible shooting where the FBI totally dropped the ball with the kid that wasn't ultimately a shooter at the time, but ultimately his parents let him get a gun, and because of that, they are the ones who should be arrested, and they are being charged, etc. But how do you charge a child because of a future crime? It's not, forget about a child. How do you charge anyone for a future crime? Just because they eat meat and drink wine? How does it mean that you're going to charge someone because of a future crime? It's not allowed in the Torah. On top of that, we just learned last week, in order to have capital punishment, you have two witnesses that witness the crime, that at the time of the crime tell the person you're going to get capital punishment, and he has to understand that, which wouldn't apply to a child, which wouldn't apply to any future event, obviously. The Torah doesn't allow any even circumstantial evidence. Forget about potential situations that we're trying to avoid. So what is the Torah teaching us? And the rabbis explain that the law of the rebellious child never happened. The law of a Ben Sorer Umorem never happened in the Torah. Number one, there's no parents are ever going to try to kill their child. That's number one. But number two is, it's not legally allowed. And so why would the Torah bring up such a concept of a Ben Sorer Umorem? Because he drank wine and eats meat. And so there's two unique things over here. Number one is that the first thing is it says that it says B'kol Aviv ubikol imay, the voice of the father, the voice of the mother. Now we know everything in the Torah, we don't even add one word. It could have just said bikol aviv imay or bikol arim, which means the voice of the father and the mother, the voice of the parents. But it says the voice of one and the voice of the other. And so number one is he's getting mixed messages. The father saying one thing, the mother saying something. This child's growing up in a home where he's getting mixed messages. And it's important in life, a lesson, and everything in the Torah teaches us a lesson. If it never happened, then why is it there? That our parents, as parents, we need to be giving our children a unified message. Even if we disagree on something, we have to make sure that disagreement happens privately, and we give that message, a unified message to our child. But number two, something very powerful. These parents in the Torah, they bring their child to the Beis Din, which means they gave up on their child. Once you give up if a parent gives up on their child, then that child will not have a future. As long as we don't give up on our children, no matter if they're going through challenges, no matter if they're going through difficulties, and we all have challenging children and difficulties in our life, but when you give up on your child, that child cannot have a future. And spiritually, we read this Torah portion, this idea in the month of Elul, because as children, as human beings, we are children of God. And God never gives up on his children. So as long as God doesn't give up on us, we always have the potential to come back. And therefore, we go into this month of Elul, the month of accounting, the month that the king is in the field, we have to remember this idea of the Ben Sorer Umorem. Never give up on a child. Never give up on anyone. You always have a second chance in life. And as long as we give that, as long as they know that we're there for them, they'll always come back. They'll always return. And same thing with God. As long as God never gives up on us, which he never does, we always have that potential to do teshuvah. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and see you tonight, 7:30, tomorrow at 10:15.